ignore you. So I also, this is also something that we talk about, the art of of getting it done and letting it go as well. I think briefly I can answer that this is about the whole story that we talk about. It depends on our culture. I think in Southeast Asian countries, we practice Theravada Buddhism. So we try to follow all rules that the Buddha established and don't try to what they call cancel or establish the new rules. We don't try to follow the whole rules that the Buddha established in his own time. Not new rules, not cancel the old rules. And because of that, there is a rules that to ordain bhikkhuni or female monks, there are many factors. Like for example, before women can ordain as a female monk or bhikkhuni, they need to practice uh, the rules for 2 years at least, for example. And every single time they break that rule, they need to start over. So by design, uh, sorry to say this, it's a bit harder for women. But my point, if I may share to all of you, and also to respond to Yana, for me, because I grew up as a like Theravada Buddhist monk, I also see that why the Buddha established this. But right now, I think I also see that actually so many things we can figure it out how we're gonna do it. Like for example, even I try to open the space, I would like to allow people, I would like to invite people to study about the rule, about historical fact, and then let make decision together what we're gonna do. Not just only, okay, we need to fight for women right, and then we ignore the whole rules. I think it's not good to do so. The what we should do is just like open the space for everyone to study why the Buddha established this rule and how we're gonna deal with this. In the last 2 or 3 years, I also supported someone who wanted to be a female monk because they need to fly to Sri Lanka to get ordination. Even I disagree in some issues, but I think everyone have, they have their own right to how can I say, to practice what they want to do, as long as that don't hurt anyone. But we need to also keep in mind as well that the way that we want to the Buddha teaching or the rules like this, we need to communicate with society. I think in the long term, I quite support freedom of religion and belief. It's very important, but it doesn't mean that everyone can do anything that they want. I think it's totally different. So, uh, to answer your question, that it can be possible to ordain a female monk in Thailand. Right now, the number is increasing. I think 10 years ago, we didn't see much, but right now in Songkhla, Got Your Tipayasathan, there are a group of the female monks, and in many provinces we have. And I think I can see that because I work on counseling, when we deal with women, uh, sometimes I know that it's hard for them to talk the truth with monks, even they trusted monk, but because some issue, it's easier for them to share with female. I think that there's also some good thing, but also the most venerable PA Payutto, the one who wrote this book, he also uh, give us some direction that actually we need to also think about the old solution like Meshi. You see that in Thailand we have female, we have none as well. So, but I think for someone maybe to be a nun and to be a bhikkhuni, it's different. So I think this is what we try to do together. We can make our voice be heard, that okay, we as women, we also want to have space, a way of life as a Buddhist monk, but we only female. So how we gonna uh, deal with it? How we gonna fix the problem? Because academically, one Buddhist monk, they try to investigate the historical fact, and they found that maybe there's a possibility that when they ordain bhikkhuni in Mahayana sect, they also kind of the we can trace back to the Theravada as well. So this, sorry to maybe make some of you not sure about this, or don't, maybe this is a new thing for you, but please be mindful, because we listen to mindfulness, the art of getting it done and letting it go. If you don't understand, feel free to let it go, and also feel free to investigate more as well. This is quite important in Buddhism, because in Buddhism, before the Buddha passed away, the Buddha told Phra Anon that what the reason that he didn't pass away when he enlightened, because he wanted Bhikkhuni Ubasok Basika study what he taught, practice themselves, disseminate what the Buddha taught, and also when there's some wrong information about Buddhism, Bhikkhuni Ubasok Basika can tell them what is the right thing, what is the right information. So I think it's also our responsibility, if we consider ourselves as a Buddhist, we need to study, we need to practice, we need to share, and then we need to correct some misinformation. Thank you very much indeed. So now you received 3 books, and I think, okay, I can see that maybe the question would come from different angles, right? Sometimes, yes, have one more question. Thank you.
Actually, that was kind of the same topic because, I mean, I know you ordain as a woman in Sri Lanka
Yes.
and the Mahaya. I mean, I live with bhikkhunis in the States, so I'm one. I'm just asking if because you have this gender equality here, is that because you're kind of taking a position to support bhikkhunis in Thailand? Because I know in Thailand it's like a thing that you can't.
Sorry, I couldn't hear the last part. Sorry.
Just wondering if that's if your organization here, which I can't really read it because it's mostly in Thai,
Okay.
but
Yes.
is the position of your organization to support bhikkhuni ordination in Thailand? Is that what you mean by gender equality?
Not just only that.
Okay,
Yeah.
okay.
We also talk about, like, for example, the youth and women engagement as well. But if we talk about gender equality as a Buddhist organization or religious organization, and we don't talk about uh, the right of women to ordain as a bhikkhuni, I think it's like a trying to talk elephant in the room. I think it's we need to talk about it, but I think more wisely. When I say more wisely, it means sometimes I talk even with Bhikkhuni monk that okay, you cannot use this strategy. You cannot try just only blame monks, because I heard myself that when international media asked Bhikkhuni that why Buddhist monk don't female to be ordained, and she said that I don't know, maybe because they afraid that female monk gonna be low or something like that, or maybe they don't want to lose their money, something like it. I think it's even she think it's real, but I think to say that maybe we need alliance to make this happen, not to put all monks to be the enemy, because I think no matter who they are in terms of gender, that kind of the problem happen everywhere, not just only, it's not about gender. May I have your name? Sorry. Yeah. Yes, I couldn't agree more. I couldn't agree more. And to be honest with you, like I shared earlier, I grew up in the Theravada Buddhist community, and I remember when I saw this clearly it when I got invited to join with the inclusive peace process in Washington D.C. And then one of the female when one of our sister from Pakistan share about what she faced, and it reminded me that actually I who grew up as a Buddhist novice and monk, we get supported from women all the time. So I don't feel that women have no voice. I don't feel that. But because of the story that I heard at that time, it encouraged me or kind of the pushed me to of the world that I grew up. Because I was ordained as a Buddhist novice first time. My monk invited me to do that when I was 7 years old. But that barely happened to girls, right? And at that time, I decided when I came back to Thailand, I'm gonna try my best to support or nun or bhikkhuni because I know that for them it's harder than me and harder for male. Yeah. Thank you very much, Cynthia. Please.
ชื่อกสิทธิ์พิรม First, I would like to express my profound appreciation to the question by the two ladies before me. I have points. One is I am a believer on the necessity to revive the existence of Bhikkhuni to be part of the movement to bring back Bhikkhuni to the Thai Theravada, Thai Buddhism, and so on. That's the first point. Second is a question to you, Reverend. So much of lies, distortion, misinformation by practically all the political leaders and senior bureaucrats in the Thai society. And it seems that morality is no longer in the name of the game. No five precept, no promvihansi, no mindfulness. And the people are being left quite isolated and at the wills and the whims of the political leaders. What can we do from your point of view to redress the situation?
I shouldn't allow you to ask. You ask too hard question. May I may I hear your name again? Ajahn Kasit Pirom, right? Okay, thank you very much. Because right now my vision is quite not clear. But you remember that we met at the Ratanakosin Hotel several years ago. But don't worry. At that time, I actually there was a meeting called Freedom of Religion and Belief, CFOB, Southeast Asian Freedom of Religion and Belief here. And this is quite interesting. They didn't allow Thai participants to be in that meeting except the invited. And at that time, I try to remove barrier. I contact them and I told them that this is quite interesting. Why you have you know Thailand or Bangkok as a venue for the international meeting for 5 years in a row, but you didn't open the chance for Thai participants to engage. And after negotiation, the other getting it done, letting it go, finally they let me go in that meeting and I met you. So you are one of the keynote speaker, right? And that time, I think you also the Ministry of the Foreign Affairs as well. I mean, after I think after that, not exact the same time. I'm not sure, but don't worry. My answer to you, I think, is about the what we're talking about right now, because political leader also reflect our quality, right? I couldn't remember the word, the sentence that like educated vote. Quality of, I don't know, it's just like if educated people have the quality of vote or something like that. It's just like in the world of democracy, we need to educate people. We have to have the good education. So then we vote for quality, not by just only maybe money or something like that. We need to study policy and make the right decision, uh, thinking about this, the whole society. So it's like destiny of the country is in your hand. So if we allow politicians to do so, it means that we don't try to do what the Buddha teach, right? In 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 the Sangha, if something bad happen, it's your responsibility to stand up and speak up. In many cases, if you silent, if you keep silent when you see something bad happen, you're gonna get punished because of that. In ภาษา Thai, in Thai, it's just like you ต้องอาบัติ So I think right now, for me, it seemed to getting a bit better. I mean, from 20 years ago, but it doesn't mean that as good as we cannot say as good as it gets. We can do much more better than this, but it begins with us. For example, if I come here this month and I never get invited again, yeah. Sorry to say this, but so many times I practice what the Buddha taught. So the Buddha himself in Apaya Rajakuman Sutta, he said that before we speak of something, we need to consider that it's true or not. That's the first criteria. But the second one is it's useful or not. So many times, even it's true, but it's not useful for anyone at all. You don't need to say that. Like once the Buddha asked the monks that, okay, you think about this leaf in his hand and our leaf in the forest, which one is more, right? And the Buddha and all monks said that in the forest it's more than in your hand. And the Buddha said that, yeah, what he know is much more than what he teach, but something is not useful. So he just only teach what necessary. And the third one is about audience. Who you gonna talk to? They gonna love it or not? It doesn't matter. This is quite interesting, right? So if it's true, it's useful. Even some truth may be, you know, your conversational partner or the one who listen to this maybe dislike it. Don't worry about it. Even what you share, they're gonna dislike it. You need to think about the fourth criteria. You need to know the right and the place, the right context, the right time and the right context. This is very important because sometimes if you want, you know, political leader to aware of what negative impact it can create, and then you don't know where and when to tell them. For example, if you work more effectively, you establish the group of the people who kind of the what do you call follow or like watchdog, and then you you gather information, you provide the alternative policy to them. For example, if you do that, maybe you can change bit by bit. But right now, to be honest, in the last election, they invited me as a Buddhist monk, as religious leader, to be witness when all politicians gonna what do you call do their campaign. But they just invited us, not just only me as a Buddhist monk, but also Catholic priests and imam as well. But they invited us because they just need pictures for PR. And when I talk with the Catholic priest and the imam that we shouldn't be instrumentalized like this. And I told them that next time, if you want to do this, at least the best thing that you should allow or invite us to share what is the most suitable for this election, what the virtue that all beliefs or even non-believer can consider regarding this election. This is something that we need to help with each other because just only me talk about this, it cannot change anything. And as Kasit, you also the former minister of the foreign affairs ministry, you also powerful, right? But just only individually we are one drop. We cannot do that much, but together we are the ocean. It doesn't mean we salty. It means we powerful if we gather together and try to change, but we need to change our perception first and then our way of communication and then our action. And the rest that I'm going to share with you regarding what you already asked, maybe some part you can relate it to the gender equality, maybe the number 16, right? Peace and institutional justice. This is related to what Ajahn Kasit just asked. So I think it depends on what we're gonna do, right? If we care about this enough, Ajahn Kasit, may I remind you, I already give my contact to you, right? And you also gave you my contact. But this is a problem. We just exchange our contact, but we don't try to connect for real. Unlike Joe, when Joe, I try to find I may say this, right? Joe, can you allow me to share this? Even you're not sure what I'm going to share, right? you know, okay. I'm gonna practice what the Buddha said in the Apayana Rajakuman Sutta because I work on the interfaith dialogue. So then I try to find the Jewish people or rabbi. We try to follow that, and luckily we have some friend from U.S. Embassy, which today I saw Heidi here as well. But the one who told me about the Jewish, a group of Jewish, including Joe, not her, but Joe and friends came to visit at IBH Foundation, and we talked a lot about every many things, including the conflict between Israel and Palestine as well. My point is about the Joe when he heard about that, he saw what we're trying to do. He, I think, do not hesitate to pass this information to to these to these what they call little Bangkok meditation group. And here I am now. Because of what? Because of Joe's effort. But not just only Joe, because if someone, Marinos or Sinti, or some of you maybe what do you call Vito. I'm not sure this is the right expression or not, but it's just like if you know, won't allow me because it seemed to me that actually in this meditation group, uh, talk about practice meditation, and I kind of bring meditation into everyday life. I said that the way that we try to solve the problem, if we don't practice our quality of mind, you're gonna burn out definitely because you want to do good deeds, but social structure is too strong, and just only one of you cannot move anything. But if you practice mindfulness and then you try your best at every situation, but you don't get burned out because you know that you can try your best and then let it go. And because of that, now no one stop this from happening. Now here I am, and I truly believe you can look at uh, those female volunteers who who's sitting over there, P Om and PM. In Thai we call like relative, right? If they're younger than you, you call them Nong, Nong Om, Nong An. If you younger than, I'm confused. Uh, if you younger than them, you call them P, but if you younger than them, you call them Nong. They just only listened to my talk 2 years ago through Facebook, and now, or not, P 2 years ago, but P actually, if I may share this, you are Catholic. She's Catholic, but when she see what I have been doing since 12 years ago, she volunteered to help until now. So even the Buddha himself, the way that he established the group of Bhikkhu, Bhikkhuni, Upasok, Upasika, and then mindfulness and Buddhism came to us actually because of individual who already managed to work as a society, as a organization, right? So I think hopefully that this can change the way we think, because if we don't do this, eventually we're gonna get impact by, like Ajahn Kasit said about political leader. Political leader I think some of them try to do good deeds, but in many cases, good deed become greedy, and then some bad thing happen. And for me, they can do that because we allow them to do so, right? In Turkey, military cannot make coup happen. I mean, cannot succeed because people don't allow that from happening. In Myanmar, even it's brutal and very violent right now, but so many people try to fight for their own right. In Thailand, it's different. I don't say that it's good or bad. I think we have our own way, and I think we can bring positive side of our culture to make it more effective or more peaceful. But this is something that I try to encourage people to use, how can I say, strength for fixing the problem. We have many good qualities, but in a way we need to admit that we have so many weakness that we also need to fix by at first admit it that we have this problem. That's the first thing. In the vulnerable truth, you need to see the problem or tukka first, and then you identify cause of the problem, uh, samutthai, right? And then you can you can select the new road or your objective, and then solution mark. So I think this is quite the same. Okay, thank you. I saw someone want to ask. Thank you. If I not allow, it's not gonna fair for him. So please, now we have two female participants ask question. We have one male. Now we have the second male. Make it equal, please.
Very good.
If you don't mind, please share us your name.
I'm Andreas. I'm from Germany. I'm not a practitioner. I wouldn't say that.
Okay.
I'm just someone who's interested in Buddhism, and I just pass by, so to say. So I'm not part of the community. I'm a visitor.
Thank you
Um,
for bringing me happiness. You just passed by.
kind of
Okay.
pass by. So my question is, um, uh, uh, you mentioned, thank you, actually, thank you very much for kind of exposing yourself to difficult questions. So I like to kind of find a difficult question because you seem to be liking difficult questions. So um, my difficult question would be, SDGs exist for a reason because society needs to change. And drastic change is required from society. And I'm very happy to see that here you combine Buddhism with kind of hard, let's say, very concrete goals for change of society. Does that mean that Buddhism and Buddhism beliefs should be much more active in helping society to change? And if so, how do you envision Buddhism being more active and being more worldly, because that's what for me needs to happen in order to achieve those goals, a worldly response.
Thank you very much indeed. I think just at least someone pass by can help with this. But what we need to do is how we're gonna get more attention from people who pass by, and that's why we right now we need to use social media to, how can I say, to bring awareness of people to something that we should. In the past, I didn't even want to engage with the television or something like that because I'm afraid that if I kind of in spotlight, maybe it can cause some bad energy in my life, and I become Buddhist monk not because I want to be celebrity. Because of that, I avoid. But I think it came to the time that I feel that I quite secure inside, and I told myself when the workpoint invited me to on the show called หลวงพี่ช่วยด้วย or Monks Help Me. พระมหาสมปอง at that time like invited me to join that. I think at that time I told myself if I kind of got distracted by what you call being famous by fame or by anything money or the way that people respect us, it means I need to practice more. That's it. Because I practice, if I practice and I feel secure just only myself, what's the point of practicing? It's like it cannot help me to be better, to help society. So I see that in Buddhism, individual and society are connected. And because of that, I try to do what I decide to do. When we do something like this, we have someone like this and someone like you. I think the reason that you gather here and supported by the Dr. Viranat and the chair of the Ban Ari, I actually I think because of the what members of the Little Bangkok Sangha have been doing all for the 15 years, right? You try to do something, and then when people know, they appreciate, they want to support, and this is kind of the way that we should do. But we need to consider our position. Some of you maybe can do much more the other because maybe you are the politicians like Ajahn Kasik. Some of you may be in the media, or some of you may be TikTok superstar. So you can help. And right now we can see that something like this help a lot. I think I may show you the presentation and can help with the answer. And then I think I'm gonna spare like at least 10 minutes for us to practice meditation together. And okay, let me share this quickly. This is my name, Napan. Santi Patho is mean peaceful monk. And actually, I grew up in the very traditional environment because my master sent me to study in Uttarakhand, and then at that time I didn't quite understand. I was born in Bangkok. Why he sent me away to the north of Thailand? But after several years of education and practice, I highly appreciate the way. This is something that we need to rely on, elder vision. Because I was 11 years old at the time, I couldn't know this. But when I grew up, I know that because I grew up, I was born in Bangkok, but I grew up in Uttarakhand with in the countryside. So the culture that people rely on Buddhist culture, I understand that. I understand the context, and I can later on I can use it for betterment of individual and society. Uh, I I'm gonna send this to Joe or to Kunbase, and then I'm gonna skip it very quickly. This is something that I share with the people in Indonesia. If faith-based organization FBO work more effectively, maybe organization like FBI don't need to work hard anymore. Uh, my English is not good, but I love to play with the word FBI and FBO. And you know what? This is they invited me. I mean like 7 minutes before. They didn't inform me in advance that they're gonna invite me to give the opening remarks. But when I listen to, and this is because I practice mindfulness. Seriously, one brief thing that I would like to share. The reason that I became a Buddhist novice because when I was 7 years old, and my mom told me, invited me to ordain. Up before that, I just meditate for 5 minutes at as much at most. But when I became a Buddhist novice, we practice meditation, sitting and walking meditation. And at the end, the last day of ordination, they call summer ordination, right? So the last day, we need to practice, we call 24 hours meditation. We began to sit at 7 p.m. and we finish tomorrow 7 p.m. Among 120 and 20 novices, just only 14 of them can sit for 24 hours. And I was one of them. I was the youngest one. So this is not to show off, but it seemed to be so, but I don't mean to show off. But I want to share that that experience is kind of transformational experience for me. And because of that, I asked my mom to ordain every summer. And then when I finished uh, like primary school, then I become a Buddhist novice since then. So this is maybe some of you the I went to the Ramsala, and it's quite interesting. His Holiness Dalai Lama, when he saw many monks from Thailand, but when it came to me, I offered the Buddha, which created by the prisoners in jail, because there's a project trying to help them to practice their mindfulness by bring the what do you call the earth, right, and then make it become Buddha like this. So it helped them to realize that actually they kind the same of the earth. They can transform themselves. And he, when he met me, he told his secretary something I couldn't understand. And then the secretary approached me that he said that His Holiness wanted me to know this word. This word is from Nakarashan wisdom, right? The word is homage to the Gotama, who moved by compassion taught the sacred Dhamma to rid us of all mis- misconstruct. I couldn't see it clearly. View, like wrong views, right? So it's quite impressive that how can I say this that experience. But yeah, I try to do that all the time. So what I try to do is just like Buddhism as a social capital and Buddhist monk as a change agent. And I don't want to read this to you. You can read it later. But what we would like to do is to drive Buddhism for SDGs and try to establish the network driving this as well. And I behalf foundation value is like this: innovative and information driven, Buddhism based and blended, holistic and harmonized, agile and accommodating, pluralistic and peace oriented. And we try to do both way. I mean, we learn from global like UN SDGs, and then we try to play a part in the regional level, national level, and to community local. And we try to bring some good deeds to the world, to the UN as well. For example, if you can see this bag, if you can see, actually, this is me in the Kyoto version. Buddhism for SDG, the transform me to this, and this use the circular economy. It means we use the concept of Mansakun. You know, the Jivan, the robe. The Buddha allowed monks to pick up the abandoned cloth and put it together and become our robe. So that's circular economy in his own time. And I try to do that. And when in the UN state, they asked that what the leader can do to help with the global boiling. And I said that religious leader need to carry the message. And I'm literally carrying my message. So this is reduced carbon footprint equal driving for 34 kilometers, for example. And not just only this, if you live in Thailand for a while, you know that monks need to use these ผ้ารับประเคน or receiving clothes to receive something that women offer, because Thai people they don't want monk to be touched by accident, so they care about monk too much, so much. Sorry. So we need to use it, and what I try to do is to bring the circular economy concept. We use the clothes that going to become waste, create this instead, and then we have QR code, ask women to scan and learn about how to reduce carbon footprint together, and know that how we reduce carbon footprint. So think about this. This also strategically movement, because women run the world, right? When you receive this and ask them to help with this, they do much more effective than us. And I'm gonna talk. I don't want to talk much about our work, but we have brochure. If you're interested, you can visit. You can take it later. My point is about the two-way. Again, we not just only bring UN SDG, but we want to amplify voice of the community, local community who try to do good deeds, but their voice won't be heard. We try to do so. And this is the 5P of the SDGs, but I put it more P. You can see people, number 1 to number 6, prosperity, number 7 to number 10, climate, number 11 to number 15, peace, number 16, partnership, number 17, and the last P, 6, added by me and IBH Foundation, is pra or monk, as pra. So in Thai. So this is what we try to do. We don't have much time, but we just want to share that this is the way that we help with the FCD Foundation for Children with Disability. We just try to we 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 did fundraising for them, and we encourage them that our audience as well, that as they live in a disabled body, let them know they don't live in a disabled world. This is also reduce inequality and also support them mentally as well. Number 10 and number 4, education for all, and number 10, reduce inequality. This is when they came to the Golden Mount Temple. I think I don't have that much time, but uh, 2S that we try to do is, one, strategically, and the second one, synergistically. We try to do, we invite so many influencer, and this also permanent secretary of the social development, which is the office not far from us. This is what we try to do to answer Andrea. Okay, I think I'm gonna share just only this, and this is the permanent secretary of the Ministry of Social Development and Security, and also the former uh, minister of the tourism as well. Okay, I think that's it that I would like to share. And we work with UNDP, right? We try to even I didn't know Mr. Reno before, but we know that who we should approach, like the Buddha himself before he went to teach King Pimpisan. He approached spiritual leader Uwela Kasapa first. So that's the idea, right? And we try to work for the gender equality by open the space. We have like women, Wonder Women for Peace of Mind, and we try to bring English for peace of mind. Two meaning: first, if we want to expand the network for people who learn more about the peace and SDG, we need to enhance that English skill. So we try to do this and invite women to talk about the environment conflict. the role of religion, for example. So that's it. I think we can, and in I think someone Ajahn Kasit also talk about the misinformation, right? We work with COFAC Thailand. We try to work on this misinformation and bring the aspect of religion on that as well. So and also the youth, I think for the presentation, I can send the link to you, but I want you to see this clip video to conclude what I would like to share. I don't begin with meditation because I don't want you to be this, like, you know, so many times when they listen to the monk, they agree with the monk by not their head like this, and then they go deep to the very deep concentration, and
Wow.
at the end, I don't want you to be like this, so that's why I invite you to talk about this first. But the most important thing that I would like to share with you in the end is this man having cake, right? And then the dog kind of make him lose that cake. But he believed that if that cake fall for 3 seconds, he couldn't he could have it. So he picked it up and then eat. And you can see the facial expression of the daughter and grandmother. What do you think? Why they did that? Why they have that facial expression? Why? Could you please tell me? You you asked me 4 questions. So now it's time for me to ask you question. Why they did this facial expression? What what they think that this man eating? That word, right? We need to censor. Yes, correct. The thing that what do you call this? Poop, right?
Yeah, yeah.
Yeah. So, but it's not, right? But my point is about why we need to practice mindfulness. Because because so many times we stand very far from reality. And because of this angle, you cannot think of anything else. Just this man eating dog poop or something like that. But if you become like this, you practice mindfulness, you can remind yourself that maybe the thing that you see not as the way that it is. And eventually, when you practice mindfulness, you're gonna reach the level that even he's eating that, it's okay.
Yeah.
Thank you, Cindy. It's okay, but don't do it now. Yeah, eventually you're gonna reach that. It's just like you know that everyone have their own karma, and but you also can help them to realize that okay, that's not what you should have, right? But if that insist, at the end you need to let it go,
Mm.
right? Even the Buddha himself want to help Tewatat, Pratewatat, the very bad monk, try to kill the Buddha himself as well. But at the end, the Buddha helped him. He realized he kind of the want to apologize to the Buddha, and even the end, he went to hell. But at least he have he had the right views forward things. So yeah, I think now I have 3 minutes left. I think that's it. Actually, you have many clip like this, and it can help with the what do you call learning reality. So hopefully that if you practice mindfulness, it can stop you from overthinking, from misjudging, or sometimes you letting it go too soon. This is also the problem, right? So many people misunderstood about the, oh, okay, they they do what they do, they are who they are. ignore them. No, that's not the way not that's not the Buddhist way. The Buddha himself tried to help everyone, but at the same time, try your best and let it go. You can do your best, but it depends on them. But also, please be careful when you try to help people with the kindness and compassion. Try to be kind to yourself as well. So many people try to help others, but they quite hard on themselves, which is not good at all. So I think that's a whole thing that I would like to share for today. And I use my art of getting it done and letting it go. I I what do you call? I spare half of the story that I would like to tell for the next invitation.
Aha. We'll have to figure that out exactly. Thank you very much, Ajahn Patel. I think that was wonderful. It gives us a chance as people who maybe are sort of self-centered in our own sort of enlightenment to see that it's also part of being society, changing society in a positive and maybe just a very small way is also part of Buddhism. And you did that and you taught us that in a very both humorous and insightful way, and I appreciate that very much. Uh, we are as a group changing over, and we'll have more chances to deal with have more monks come in. But next week we're having Artie. She's bringing Dharma Circle, which is part of our regular program. And then the following week, we have Cynthia, who comes from America, and she's going to do guided meditation. And she's also going to tell us a little bit about how Theravada Buddhism is organized in the United States. So that leave some, yeah, I think that'll be very interesting. And then we also have, after that, another lady, I think, Kun Prema, who's also going to be talking about how yoga integrates with Buddhism. So it's going to be a very interesting time. Anyway, so basically, I think though everything is impermanent, we can kind of assume that we've got the Mondays booked for the next foreseeable future. And, if you, so you can sort of say, okay, if it's a Monday, maybe it's Bonnery. So can you help us a little bit? We're changing our routines. Supposedly now we're not going to put the chairs in there. We're going to put the chairs here and we're going to fold them first. So if you could help do that, that would be great. We only need 8 chairs sitting here. So we're going to put the other 8 away and that will be done. And then you talked about how we could maybe help a little bit. There are 2 ways we could help immediately, and that is there is 2 boxes, one for yourself and one for the Ban Ari. Now, Ban Ari also needs our support because although they are a foundation, they may not be a rich foundation. So they pay for the air conditioning and everything else. So if you see some way to help them out, that would also be very nice. It's all totally up to you. So, okay, so I think that's about it. So once again, Venerable, thank you very much. We greatly appreciate it. And we'll see everybody, or at least some of you, next Monday.
Thank you very much. And I quite relieved because I leave the practice mindfulness part in the Cynthia's very good hand.
Mm.
This is we established collaboration. Thank you.
Oh, there's a bit of time, so not too much time, but if you wish to talk to the Venerable, pop up and just say hello and ask him a question personally. Some people prefer to do that, so you feel free because we're going to be shuffling chairs, et cetera, for the next 10 or 15 minutes.
Yeah, thank you. And Yana, please receive 3 books, and everyone have your own right to pick one book. Thank you. Hopefully that your legs